Hi Flosstube, welcome back to my channel, NBC Stitcher. I'm Matt and this is Augie, and this is a YouTube channel where I talk about cross stitch, and I also will talk about a media section at the end about books and other things that I have been consuming, TV shows and that kind of thing, just in the last couple weeks. So this is episode number 45. Today is Wednesday, March 8th. I think that's right. Yes, not March, June 8th, 2022. And it is in the evening on the middle of the week. It is the week before I go to StitchCon. A week from now, I will be on the road or in Ohio by this point. And so, yeah, I'm excited. I have been, a lot of my friends that are going to Weekend A, I'm seeing a lot of messages and posts from them, and it's really exciting. And I am a little bit jealous, but also very excited for next week. So, that's what's going on right now. And a little life update. My boyfriend is going to Alaska for a theater conference that he goes to every year, or for the last several years. And so he leaves at the end of the week, and then he will be gone for 10 days. And then while he's gone, I will also be gone. So that is convenient that part of the time that he is unavailable, I will also be. I'm not losing like a weekend or something where I could be seeing him. So that's nice. Anyway, what are you? Oh, he's being a little odd today, but that's okay. So yeah, we are just enjoying this very weird weather right now. It seems to rain every morning and then get super hot in the evenings, in the afternoons, and it's just like steamy and gross, but that is the summer. It feels like I'm back home in Houston, where I was born, more than Oklahoma, but it's not that unusual for Oklahoma. It's just a little different right now. So it's been raining, but we haven't had, and thunderstorms, but we haven't had like tornadoes or anything that some other places are having. So, or really high winds that's causing damage, at least around me. But, oh, there was also, there was also a shooting that happened here in Tulsa last week. I was nowhere near it. It was not a hospital that I go to or a doctor's office that I have ever been to before, but it is near, not that far from me, and it is definitely something that is happening. Those things are happening a lot these days. They have been happening for quite a while, and I hope to see some change in that soon through however we get there. But anyway, yeah, so I have quite a bit of stitchings in the last couple of weeks that I have not shown, or since I was last did a video. I have a page finish, I think just one, maybe 2 page finishes, but on the same project. And then I have a couple new starts, and I have some good amount of progress on several things. So I was watching the Crafty Stitchers in the UK, and their newest video, and so they said we start with starts. So I'm going to start with starts this time. So first up, I will show the PDF mock-up. Although mine will be different color-wise, this will still give you an idea of what's going on. So I started for my birthday, ink circles, garden stars. That's not what I wanted to do. And this is a piece by Tracy Horner of Ink Circles, and it's a bunch of different not floral, but flora, like plant-like mandalas or different plant motifs that are in a bunch of different greens. It is charted in DMC, but I'm going to be doing it in different silks that I have secured or collected from that have come into my stash, mostly for this project, but I'll give you an idea of, and I think I have more than I am going to end up using, but I have options. I have a lot of different greens and some like light browns and stuff, mustardy greens. And then there's some more that are not on the little ring there, but I got a good start. This is on a 40 count Fiber on a Whim fabric that I got at Steel City Stitchers Retreat in Pittsburgh. And I have done about 500, just over 500 stitches, and this is 1.3%. So this is in Pattern Keeper, and I have been able to, but I've only used one color so far, and it's one thread over two on the 40 count. It's called Sand is the name of this fabric. So it's a beautiful color. You can kind of see through it a little bit, but I think you can definitely see where I'm stitching. So that's where we have it. And then I have this merman needle or grime guard from Garon that I have put on this. And then there is a lovely needle minder that I created from a pen of Jinx, Monsoon, and Vin de la Creme, who are two drag queens that I adore. And so that is sitting on this project. And I have it in a Garon bag, these peacocks that I've had for a while, but kitted it up in there. Okay, so that is my first of my 2 new starts. Next up, this is a little bit of haul. This is a Jasmine's Custom Bags from Instagram. Genevieve is a bag maker in Canada, and she makes these amazing bags that have leather on the outside of them. Super great. They are big enough for an 11 by 11 Q-snap to fit perfectly. Colleen, Rebel Stitcher, has several of these, and I have been wanting to get one, and then I happened to be looking at my phone when she posted about it, and I was like, ooh, and it's Star Wars, and it's rainbow. I need it. So me pleased it. And also Victor, Flawed Sir, also got the other one. And I know Genevieve she did a pre-order for some of these, but that's closed. I don't think you can get more, but she was trying to get more fabric so she could do more of these. But I love this bag, and I knew immediately, okay, that I need that, and I know exactly what I'm putting in that because it is Star Wars and rainbow. This is Pride Month. I decided I needed to put my Pride start in here as well. So let me go ahead and show you what we have started for Pride this year. I am I'm on Virtual Stitchers, and a group of us that get together on Friday nights on Virtual Stitchers include Amazing Stitcher, Imogen X Stitch. They are a stitcher that been on Instagram for a while. They did an amazing emo version of Alice in Wonderland from Owl Forest Embroidery. It's still ongoing. It hasn't been completed, but it is an amazing conversion of that piece. They also love to put hats on animals, and love patterns with animals with hats. But they recently they've done 2 floss tubes now, and in their first one, Jacob from Modern Folk Embroidery watched it and was inspired to create a pattern for Pride. And so that is what happened. And this is the lovely pattern. It's a little bit different than the called for. I have changed the colors to what I'm using, but it is a beautiful medallion in the center that says "Move forward in love," which is a quote that Imogen used in their video. And this has the Progress Pride flag and the center medallion there, which is full coverage, but the rest of the outside is not. And then flowers and birds in several of the, well, there's the pink and blue from the trans flag, and then the brown and black which stand for the minority people that or people of color that are part of the LGBT community. So those are the birds, and then there's the rainbow flowers around the outside too. So I have not stitched a Modern Folk Embroidery piece before, but I have purchased a few others, and I wanted to do one. I loved the pattern from last year, the stitch along, but it's so big. I was like, I don't think I can add that into my current progress right now or project. So this was something I was like, I can do that. I can stitch this for Pride. And then I decided I need to change it to a toile because a little bit of sparkle is great and is perfect for Pride. So I converted all the colors to a toile. I changed the blanc that is called for to be 5200, but otherwise everything else is from the étoile range. And there is étoile blanc, but it has a little bit of a gray tint to it, and I wanted more of the bright white. So that's why I went that route. But this is the color palette that I'm using. And here's where I am. I have done quite a bit, actually. I am trying to my plan is to get this done by August 1st, which is the stitch along timeline as well that Jacob set. But I mean, you can stitch it whenever you want to, but it is a lot of stitches. It is just over 9,000 stitches is the called for, the size of it. And I have done 1,500, so I am at the 17% mark, but it's gonna be it's definitely gonna be probably August before I get this done, or at least into July. I don't think I'm gonna be able to get this done in June. But I have been working on the center medallion. I've got the Move Forward in Love. I got the blue stripe here. I've got most of the green stripe, some of the yellow. And then I've been kind of working my way around I think I have to do about 140 stitches every night or every day on this piece to keep on track. Now, like last night, I didn't work on this at all because I was working on something else to get to a page finish. But I'm definitely going to get a lot of progress. I am taking this with me to StitchCon because there are big blocks of color that I will be able to do without having to really pay attention. And so that's why I'm leaving this one undone and I'm trying to get more of the stuff around so that I can just stitch those big blocks when I have time to do that at StitchCon. This is a 36 count linen in the colorway Iris. It's from Under the Sea Fabrics. I had purchased this at Fire Poppies, which has now closed, but it is a beautiful piece of fabric. There is quite a variation. Like the bottom part is more of this like yellowy color, tan, and so I wanted this blue and pink, and there's just a whole bunch of different modeling there. I think everything will stand off great against it, so I'm really happy for the fabric choice. But These are both needle minders from Rebel Stitcher Designs. And I believe Colleen said she's going to be doing this pattern too. Maybe not. I forget. I think she said she was, but, or at least she purchased it, I think. But yeah, that'll be great. Several other people are doing this. There is a hashtag for it. Hashtag MFE Pride Sal 2022. So that is the hashtag that Jacob has encouraged everyone to use. And so I'm using that along when I post about this. So what I've been doing, aside from last night, is working on this every day a little bit. But I only post it on Instagram every few days. I have been in the process of working on like 2 or 3 projects each day, just a little bit. And so it's kind of weird. I felt it would be weird to post each of those each day. And instead I'm trying to like wait a little bit and then post them when I've got some it's been a little bit and I've got a good amount of progress to show. So this is, and the name of the piece is Move Forward in Love. So that is from Modern Folk Embroidery, and I am doing this 2 strands over 2 on 36 count. So it's a beautiful pattern. I have been working here on the portion of the Progress Pride flag triangle area, and yeah. I am very happy with this piece. So a lot of them, the called for colors do not directly line up with the Etoile set, but you can pretty much find there's a yellow, and so I did that. The one that is a little bit different, there's a navy color, which I had to do. It's more of a dark purple than a navy, but it's like a navy purple. So it's C823, I think. And so that's the border here, and it'll be part of the plants and everything, versus I think in the called for, it's a navy color. But this is David from Schitt's Creek, and then this is Miss Vanjie, another drag queen that is from RuPaul's Drag Race. And so that is my other new start and my Pride start. All right, so let's go into finishes. So I have a page finished. I'm not like a big finish, but I'm working towards this. I am going to finish this year. That is a goal, and I think it's definitely happening. This is Forest of Sumatra by Ink Circles. It is a big monochromatic sampler that is done... It's one of the 3 Sumatra themed patterns that Tracy has released. There's also Dragons of Sumatra and Squirrels of Sumatra. I think Forest was first, but Dragons may have come first. But I have been working on this for 2 years now, and I have quite a bit of progress. So this is where I am now up to. So there are 6 pages in this piece. 9 pages. 1, 2, 3, 3 across the middle, and 3 on the bottom. And I have done 1, 4, and 7, 2, 5, and 8. And now I will do 3, 6, and 9. And so my goal has been, I have been working on this, doing a strand or a length or 2 every night, and then I get to a page finish that month. I did this top page in May, and then I completed this one in June, the middle one. There wasn't as much to do in June, to be fair, but I did complete it. And then last night I ended up doing like 6 or 7 lengths to get it all done. I had like these 3 motifs and a little bit of some other ones to get done, but I have finished it. So I really enjoy this piece. This is a 36 count linen called Toast from Be Stitch Me. It is a beautiful linen. I love this color. And then the called for floss is what I'm using, which is Gloriana Sumatra, which was dyed specifically for this piece. It is also very similar, I think, to Deep Sea. That may not be the correct name, but I know it's very close to a color that's already in Gloriana's line, so there's that. But yeah, I have another page finish. So I have 3 pages left, and that will go. My goal is to get this done by the end of the year. So if I can get in July, August, and September, I will definitely have that, and I could get this framed and have it up for Christmas. Not that this is really Christmassy, but I mean, I could maybe use my Christmas money or something. Holiday would be great. So yeah, and thank you everybody that gave me some suggestions on frames. I had asked about that last time, so thank you. If you would like to give me some suggestions, please do so in the comments. I appreciate that. So yeah, so Forest of Sumatra. I love this piece, and I'm very excited to be moving forward with it and getting some progress. These pages over here are not as, like, these pages were a full page, and this is not quite a full page. It's still a big page, and there's definitely some that I'm gonna have to work, like, I redrew my page lines because I didn't want to do part of a motif. So I will definitely have more to do over here, but I am very happy to be moving back towards that. I think I'll probably work in the bottom first. I will also be taking this with me to StitchCon because it is monochromatic, and that makes it a little easy to work with. Also, I just love this piece. So, okay. Next up, are my whips. So I did a little bit. This first one I didn't do as much on as the others, but I'm gonna show it to you anyway. Well, that's not what I wanted. Oh, it won't do I can't do a mock-up of this on Pattern Keeper because I had, anyway. Okay, I think I do have, I've got a cover picture. Okay, so this is Naboo. This is Welcome to Naboo. It is from Country Magic Cross Stitch, or Country Magic Stitch, which is on Etsy. I think they still are. They may not be. This may be a Russian designer. So I don't know if you can actually get this right now, but it is a series of travel posters. They have all sorts of ones. There are several Star Wars ones like this, and several other fandom travel posters in a vintage kind of style. And so I have been working on this one. I have been doing some more on this building, and that's about it. It's not a huge amount. It's probably less than 200 stitches that I've done, but I am getting progress on this. This is probably coming with me to StitchCon as well, because this is a nice travel piece that I can work on in the car because it's Aida. I can generally stitch on Aida sometimes. So this is also one of my oldest whips. So I did the Hoth one. It's just a white 18 count Aida from Michaels, so there's nothing really special about that. But yeah, I'm excited to get some more progress on that one. All right, next up, Bella Filipina, Cleopatra, Queen of the Nile. This is a beautiful fancy lady or fancy folk pattern that I have been working on since a year ago. I started it for my birthday last year, and I have done some more progress. This is, I finished up all of the background of the throne, did a little bit more on her dress, and then this column here. So it's not a huge amount it's a good amount. I did a lot on this, but there's still a lot more. She is a big girl. She's a very big girl. She's on lots of pages, and the center page here with her, and then her dress, these two are so many stitches. They're so full, but it's beautiful, and I'm really enjoying this. This is on a 32 count linen called Blood Orange from Be Stitch Me. And I love this piece. I definitely want to keep working on this. I don't know if I'll take this to StitchCon because, I mean, I'd end up taking everything if I'm like, oh, I need to take that. Oh, I need to take that. But it's possible. Okay, next up we have the Year in the Woods Stitch Along series from Cottage Garden Samplings. And I started with the fox. This is number 1 in the series. This is the December piece or maybe January. No. Is it? What are we? The bear is number 6. So yeah, December. So the fox was December. The bear was May. The eagle is number 6 or number 7. So there will be one in November. Will be the final winter piece. But okay, so I'm doing these on 40 count, the Woodland Bundle from Be Stitch Me. So I did quite a bit more on the Mr. Fox here. I finished up more of his body, got his tail worked on, did more on his face, these trees. I just kind of did a little bit everywhere. I'm using 1 strand. The fabric is called Gray Magic. It's the gray in the series from Be Stitch Me. I'm doing the 3 pieces for each season on 1 piece of fabric. So the fox is in the middle, the swans will go over here, and then the November piece at the end of the series will go here as the final winter piece. And then I will put the 3 spring pieces together, the jackrabbit, the raccoon, and the ferret, and then the 3 summer pieces, the bear, the eagle, and then whatever comes next will go on that piece all together. And so yeah, I have really enjoyed this. I did do a little bit of converting. I used Anchor Black instead of 310 or mascara or whatever the called for black is. I used Anchor Black. And then instead of the whitewash or grits or whatever the white is, the overdyed white, I'm using Silks for Use white silk. So, and then I did use the called for Gentle Arts burnt orange maybe, or whatever the other overdyed was that's part of the fox. I did use that. So that's where I'm at. These are not horns. This is part of his ears. I just haven't filled in the rest of it. But yeah, so this is probably, of all my pieces that are like I've been working on a lot, this is probably my next one close to a finish. And so this is one I'm going to be continuing to push for. I set myself a goal of 30 page or finishes or like complete finishes by the end of the year. And with the page finish on Force of Sumatra, I am halfway there, and it's June. So that means I'm on track, a little bit ahead of track, but I want to continue to stay on track. And that means I need to work on this. Now the other 3 page finishes will help as well. And then my full coverage goals should also add some more page finishes when I get to those. But yeah, also, I did some changing on my WebGo board. WebGo is a Facebook group that was created, and the concept of it is essentially a bingo for your projects. WIPs is what it was originally done, but you can do whatever you want with it. Jessie Marie of Jessie Marie Does Stuff started WebGo as a way to encourage herself to work on different things and to set goals, and then they would be called. You make a board of 20, there's 25 spots. You can use the free space in the middle. It's like a bingo board. And you can set up 24 or 25 goals. Every month she calls 2 numbers. The month that number 13, which is the middle space, is called. she calls 3 numbers. If it's a free space, you're done. I put new starts on there. May included the free space or the middle spot, and then some other things. I had on my board to work on my alphabet creature sampler from Pain Free Crafts, but I am not feeling it. I have worked once on it, and it's just not something I'm really wanting to do a lot with, and so I changed up the remaining spots on the board to Year in the Woods. So I have added this to WhipGo, even though I hadn't started these things, but it'll just be whatever piece I'm working on. It will count towards that. So it's a long way of saying this is now a WhipGo goal as well, which I have been working on, and one of the spots got called, and I have completed that spot now, or I'm close to. Maybe for June. I think it was for June, and so I've got a couple days in, but I need to work some more on it, but I will definitely be doing that. This is also a Rebel Stitcher Designs needle minder. So yeah, it's another pride flag on a wizard hat. Okay, now my full coverages. So I worked on 2 different of my full coverages. I mentioned last time that I was a little behind in May. I did catch up, and I did get my goal of 3,000 stitches on my full coverages. For the most part, that all came on my on this first piece that I'm going to show. This is called Intimate Encounter. The art is by Sandra Santera, and this is charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Very gay. And I worked on it quite a bit. And let's see, I'm now at 8.55%. So I love this piece. It's so good. So this is where I'm at. You can see the arms. You can see Pan's arm here, Hearn's arm, his stomach or body coming that way. And then you can see part of Pan's hair coming in here. That's a little bit more popcorny or confetti than other parts have been, but it's been enjoyable to do. So I kind of stalled out up here on this diagonal because it would require me to move the Q snap. So I came back down here and worked more. I'm working on this one, and then I will continue to mark my way across that way. At least that's the current plan. This is on 28 count Easy Guide Lugana, and I'm doing 2 threads over 1 in a tent stitch or half stitch method. So I really love this piece. It's going to take me years to continue to get to it, but it is surprisingly, I do get quite a bit of progress. There's a lot of good chunks of color where I'm not having to change colors often, and so it's easy to get a good amount of progress. Okay, the other piece that I have been working on is called Grounding. Is this beautiful dragon. The artist is Carla Morrow, and this is a wonderful, the design or the charting company is not Heaven and Earth. It is Unconventional X Stitch, and they are out of Australia, but they have licensed several of her artworks and have, and so I started this one, but I started it in a different corner, and here's where I'm at. So I have moved into this next diagonal, and I've used all the parked threads in that diagonal, and now I'll go back with new threads and fill in either colors that I finished up and didn't have enough to finish in the diagonal, like this black or brown, or new colors that I need to pull for the first time. So most of this is rock, and then there's some veins of the blue, and then there's the watercolor like mountains back here that I'm working on. So yeah, I will continue to work on this and then get back to Intimate Encounter. I have a third full coverage piece that I have started, but I haven't been feeling like working on it very much recently, so it's not made its way back into my rotation. It will. I'm not saying I'm going to give up on it, but I am kind of happy to focus on these right now. And that's all my stitching. So I do have some haul, a good chunk of haul, and then I've got some media stuff to talk about as well. So I feel like this bucket doesn't get smaller no matter what I do. So I did have a birthday between the last time I filmed and now, and I got a couple things from some friends for my birthday. So I got this lovely card from my friend Kate, Stitchy Aardvark, who I'm going to see at StitchCon. So I'm very excited to see her, and thank you very much for the card. I also got a card from my friend Zan, Crazy Band Lady Stitches. She is on Instagram and Flosstube, and she sent me this birthday card with some lovely gifts, which if you're not following Zan, you need to go follow her. She's great. I met her at the Steel City Stitchers Retreat, and she is a local friend to Sarah, Memphis Sarah E., who I had been working on Dark Queen with. So she sent me a couple skeins of Forbidden Fiber Company, or Forbidden Fiber Co. Floss. And so this is cotton, and they're approximately 6-yard color fast cotton. This one is Orchid, which is a beautiful purple. And then she sent me Taurus, which is a beautiful like green and brown variegated color. It's really nice. So yeah, I'm very excited to use both of those. She also sent me this Corgis sticker, which is just great because Augie loves that. And then she sent me some fabric, which is 14 count Ada, and from Forbidden Fiber Co. and Cranberry Crush, which was from the November 2021 Fabric of the Month. So here's what that looks like. Oh, that's really pretty. Yeah. Ooh, that looks like some like crushed up cranberries. Yeah. Something lovely, Christmassy would go great on that. So I will put that to good use. Okay, I got my Bird Crush Club for this month already. And so the bird this month is called the Western Meadowlark. And this is a picture of it. And then, so this is another picture. And then this is the pattern from Lindy Stitches, what it looks like. And the Threadworks that was sent is this beautiful sandy color that is used in the bird's wings, but also in the ground underneath it. So that looks like it's gonna be lovely. I did get my Jody Fabric of the Month. This is 32 count linen. It's a beautiful dark purple, and then a beautiful golden yellow. This is so pretty. Oh, it's gorgeous. So both of those are lovely. And okay, I did order, well, that's kind of down there. Okay, from Top Knot Stitcher, I ordered the Bald Eagle, which is the next in the Cottage Garden Samplings group. I love this eagle. He's so big. I mean, this is going to take a long time to stitch because he just takes up so much space. He's gorgeous, and he should take up that much space, but yeah. So I'm kind of thinking that I will end up starting the eagle next because I'm waiting on a floss for the swans that I don't have, and I don't know that I want to convert it to something else at this point yet. I might find something at StitchCon to use, so we'll see about that. But if I don't go with the swans, then I want to start this group of the summer next. And because I want to start in the middle, the eagle would be the ideal one to start with. And then I can do the bear. Yeah, the bear. And then the whatever comes next, maybe. So I do have the called for, or I have converted the called for over dyes to a different fiber that I'm going to use. So, but I got this from Abby. She was super fast and super great as always. Okay. I also received the space themed box from Be Stitch Me. Now I just did the linen and silks, or the fabric and silk option, and I got linen. And so I did not get all the other things that come in her boxes because I went with the cheaper version. But these are gorgeous. So this is Jupiter. This is a silk. This is 50 yards skein of Jupiter. This, I think I have this one, Nexus, but I love this color. That would be beautiful. Then we've got Cosmos, Space Rock, and then Stardust, and Galaxy. And so that's that. The fibers, the fabrics that I have are Galaxy, which is she's had this color for a while, but it's gorgeous. And I went with a 32 count opalescent this time. So this is Galaxy, which is gorgeous. Space Rock, which is a nice gray, but very pretty. And very opal, but I think for these, the opal makes the most sense. And 32, it's be easier to work with. Gioello. It's not Galileo, is it? I don't think that's how you spell Galileo, but which is a beautiful purple, more dark version, and then a very pretty night sky, which I thought Brandy could not get this color anymore, but this is so pretty. Beautiful dark blue, great modeling. I love this. So it's a beautiful color. I did also get my fabric of the month from Brandy for May. So this is Pink Chocolate, which is the neutral, and this is on a 32 count Lugana, or Joblin, even weave. Nice, very subtle pink, chocolatey modeling, this pink chocolate. And then this is the 36 count linen Undine, which is a beautiful color. And so this is purple with teals and very aqua-y colors, but very nice. And then I got, this is Tree Hugger, and this is a 25 yard skein. And then Feast, which is another kind of like pink and taupe tan colors, variegation. A dusty pink. One of my coworkers got me this. It is a little cross stitch kit of like 4 different cross stitch pieces themed from The Office. And so it's got like you see that. So it's got the cup, and then there's the stapler in Jello. There's the Dwight, and then that other one. So I do enjoy The Office, so be nice to work on. I need to do a little thing. Okay, I did go to the Silver Needle last weekend. I was looking to convert a couple other cross-stitch colors for the Year in the Woods, and to pick up, I had purchased a skein of Black Bear, I think, that was very different than the one I already had, because that was to use instead of something else. And I was at a different shop, and they had Black Bear, but it was Gentle Arts Black Bear, and it was very different than the one I had. It was much lighter. And so I was able to get another skein similar to what I already had if I want to use that. I also have a lighter version if I want to use that for another different piece. But while I was there, I also picked up a couple things. I got this of the Foxwood Crossings, the Snowy Visitors, these little bird patterns that go on the little sleds. I got a couple of sleds when I was up in Kansas City, and so I got that. I also purchased the Home for the Holidays book by Blackbird Designs. I don't own, this is my first Blackbird book. I will be honest, this is why I bought it. I love this piece, this the pattern that's in the back. 'Tis the Season. I guess I'll do it like this. I really like this pattern. The other ones are good too, but they're just, a lot of them aren't really my style. They're a little bit more prim than what I typically like to do, but I really liked this piece. And I was looking to try and find it singularly, and I couldn't really find it anywhere. I think it was in a magazine at one point, but I saw this and I wanted to get it so that I definitely had it. But yeah, it's a nice book, but they do go out of print at times, and I wanted to make sure I had it before I had a chance to stitch that. I, at some point, would like to stitch it, but I have a lot of Christmas stuff that I need to get done for Christmas and for the holidays, so I'm not in a rush to start it. It'd also be nice to do it in the called for Belle Soie, and I don't have those, and that'll take a while, or at least some. Well, I don't know what that means then. Okay, I did order from Garon Stitchery. They did a Memorial Day sale where all of their patterns and fabric was on sale. And so I ordered a couple things that I had been eyeing for a while. And so this is Junebug, this lovely beetle lady. And then I also ordered the Luna Moth, which also came out the same month as Junebug, which I liked both of these. I love a lot of these Nora pieces. I don't know that I'll stitch all of them, but it's kind of one of the ones that I do like collecting. And I also got the Luna Moth embellishment pack because it was also on sale. So I bought that. And then I did get one piece of fabric. This is 32 count linen. So I think it's called Pumpkin King. I think it's Fiber on a Whim, but that has been marked through. So I'm not sure who dyed it, but it is called Pumpkin King, and it's a beautiful, lovely Halloween-y fabric. Orange, black, dark. It's 32, so hopefully that'll be easy. I definitely would use light to see that, but yes. Yeah, so got that, and that's all my haul. Oh, one other thing here, stitchy kindness, I guess. This is, I think I'm not 100% sure, but I think this is 18 count canvas. It may be smaller than, well, maybe it's not 18, maybe it's bigger than that. But this is a canvas for needlepoint. My grandmother had this. I was like, I'm never going to use this. Do you want it? I was like, sure, I'll take it. I don't necessarily needlepoint, but I might in the future. I have done it in the past. And I do, but I have a big roll of canvas. So I might do something with this in the future, but it's going into my stash for now. As my grandmother is destashing things. Okay, so let's talk about books and things. So first of all, before I get to books, let me say that there's a couple shows that I've been watching that I would like to talk about. I did start the Kenobi show, Star Wars Kenobi. It's been really good. I highly recommend if you like Star Wars. It's a great show so far. There's also a good show, RuPaul's Drag Race All-Stars All Winners season has started. It's the 7th season of All-Stars, and everybody competing has already won. And so instead of sending people home each week, they're all there, and it's kind of like a point system now. It's great. They are amazing. It's been some great performances. I love it. It's an amazing show. If you like Drag Race, this is definitely one to watch. So yeah. What else? I can't think of anything off the top of my head right now that I was meaning to do. Oh, I know. Excuse me. There's a new movie called Fire Island on Hulu, and it is written by Joel Kim Booster. I think he stars in it, produced it. I don't know if he directed it or not. He may have done that too. But it also has Bowen Yang, who is on SNL, Matt Rogers, another queer comedian, and then a whole bunch of other people. Margaret Cho is in it, is an amazing member of the cast. But it's essentially, it is a Pride and Prejudice retelling set on Fire Island with a group of the non-traditional gays that go to Fire Island. There's very much a super a kind of I guess a stereotype of the Fire Island type of gays, very white, very rich, very fit, and if you don't meet those things, then you're invisible there, or it's not a place for you, or that kind of stuff. And so this shows a group of queer men that do not meet that category, including two or several Asian queer men that are traditionally not part of that group, and it's great. It's a really good story. I really loved the movie. It was very enjoyable. It is a romantic comedy, but it is it's very good. Margaret Cho is amazing. Bowen Yang and Joel Kim Booster are great. Excuse me. So yeah, check that out if that's something that you would like to see. It's on Hulu. It's not, you don't have to pay anything extra. It's just part of Hulu. If that's something you want to watch, I would check it out. Okay. Now, let's talk about books. First up, this is the book I forgot to talk about last time. So I had read this last time and I didn't talk about it. This is called Still Just a Geek by Wheaton. This is Will Wheaton, who is played Wesley Crusher on Star Trek Next Generation. He is he was also on I can't think of the movie he did before Star Trek. Academy Award nominated. River Phoenix was in it. Something girl. So the premise of this is Will did a book about 11 or 12, 15 years ago called Just a Geek, and it was his autobiography that he had written. It is a collection of blog posts from his blog that he still runs, but used back in the day, and then kind of like edited and used that and included other stories. So what kind of came about was Will's career kind of stalled, I would say, after Star Trek, and then didn't really pick back up or excel until he started working on The Big Bang Theory as a version of himself. And that kind of re-catapulted him back into more into the career that he has today, the kind of work that he does. And now he does a lot of work. He does an interview show after Trek. It's called The Ready Room, and he interviews people from current Star Trek shows, talking about those shows, the weeks that the new shows are airing, and kind of that stuff. He's really good at that. He's a good actor, and he does a lot of things. I really enjoyed him from his internet gaming show called Tabletop, where he did a lot of, showed how to play different tabletop games, and did a whole series about that for several years. My friends and I, several of us in law school, enjoyed playing games, tabletop games, and we often would use Will Wheaton's tabletop show as a way of like picking a new game to play, but also figuring out how to play it without having to like read the rules. They do it, they explain it, everything. He's great. And so he was asked to do I guess when he originally did the book, and it was out, I think it was Entertainment Weekly or maybe some other similar type of publication, asked to review it. He said, great. They read it, and then they said that he was whiny and didn't really give it a good review, which you don't have to if you ask to review a book, but he did not like that. And so they asked him to do something years later, and he was like, no, I remember what you said about my book, screw you. But that got him to go back and read his book. And then he realized, oh, wow, a lot of this doesn't age well. I made a lot of homophobic, misogynistic remarks that were either not true or not, and certainly not funny, and I want to correct and address things. He has also now he has now addressed his own mental health more than he had before he wrote the first book. He is sober now. He also has a better understanding of his relationship with his parents and the things his parents did to him as a child actor that really, Stand By Me, that was the movie. It had no girl in it, but Stand By Me, I would get there. So he decided to do an annotated version of his old memoir, and then he includes a whole bunch of new stuff too. I think, so this is the new portion, and then the annotated. So essentially what he did, and I'll show you just like a snippet of this. So it's got like the text and then footnotes, and the annotations in there kind of explain like, I shouldn't have said that, or that was, what I meant was this, or those kinds of things. And it's really useful. He does go through a lot of stuff that his parents did, and it's like crazy. The amount of financial and emotional trauma that he went through at the hands of his parents is crazy, is ridiculous. So that's not the right word. As a actor in California, or maybe in the United States, there's a law that requires child actors a certain portion of their fee to go into this trust account for them to use once they turn 18, or to have once they turn 18. But essentially, it's to prevent parents from stealing all of their kids' money. Well, the law only requires to save 15%, which is not very much of the fee or whatever they're getting. The other thing that Will talked about here that was really kind of eye-opening was, so he had incorporated himself he was a corporation, and then individually he was an employee of the corporation that was then loaned out to studios and production companies to be used as an actor. And then, so he would not individually be paid by those entities. They would pay his corporation, which would then turn around and pay him. But his dad was the guy running the corporation that was investing the money and running the money of the corporation. His mom was on the corporation's payroll to doing what she was doing. And eventually, he also talks about an instance after he had done Stand By Me, where he did another movie, and I don't even remember the name of it, but it's a horrible horror movie that was just the things that he went through and his sister that they put him through on that movie are just ridiculous. There's a scene where he is like pushed into cow manure, and they used real cow manure. Like, they didn't have a fake thing. For like the house falling down around him, they were using like actual debris and shit and breaking stuff up and like blowing it on him with a fan. His sister was attacked by chickens, and they literally used chickens to attack her, and not just like it was the things that he went through in that movie and his sister went through. And then at the same time, his mom is there as the manager for them and is not stopping these things from happening and is not taking her kids away, is just ridiculous. So there's a lot of stuff that goes on. I could not just read this through. There's a lot of good and uplifting stories as well, but there's a lot of trauma that he goes through, and he talks about it. So I had to intersperse this with other stuff. But it was really good. I really loved it. So I purchased the hard copy, and then I also listened to the audiobook. That's how I actually read it. But I wanted to have the hard copy of it anyway. So Still Just a Geek by Will Wheaton. I recommend, but if you have, but there is definitely stuff discussed that may not be something you want to, there's a trigger warning, I guess is what I'm saying. Okay, I did get a couple other books done recently as well. I felt like I talked about this one, but I don't think I did. So I'll do this one. I know I didn't talk about this, but this is this next one in a series. So this is Will and Patrick's Endless Honeymoon. So I talked about Will and Patrick's Wake Up Married last time, and this is the sequel, and it's in the honeymoon. I really enjoyed this one. All of the problems I had with the other book were not here. I didn't really have any problems with the way the characters were speaking, or didn't come across as like, that doesn't sound like actual gay people talking, or anything along those lines. I feel like whatever that was has been resolved, and the author did a great job here. The characters are ridiculous, but that's part of the story. And I didn't feel like, I don't know, I just really enjoyed this one a lot more. Essentially, they go on their honeymoon, things happen. There is some resolution to several other characters that you kind of see in the background of the other book. But it was really nice. I definitely enjoyed it. Okay, I also read Gutter Mage by J.S. Kelly, which this is what it looks like. This was not a book that was recommended to me or anything like that, but I stumbled across it on Audible and it was only a few dollars, so I purchased it. It is a fantasy story, but it's kind of like it's similar to a urban fantasy, story of like the Dresden Files or the Mercy Thompson series. Augie, that's the neighbors. You hear that sound every week. It's okay though. But it's set in more of like a high fantasy world. So there's a city. The titular character, Rosalind, is the Gutter Mage. She was training to be a mage, but then her teacher she ends up getting kicked out of school because a teacher that she was following tried to use her in an experiment, and then ended up, she's kind of like marked with these sigils that allow her to do essentially fire magic without having to do the same things that other mages have to do. And so she has a knowledge of magic, but does not actively practice it aside from her fire conjuring and things. But she works as kind of like a mercenary or a private investigator type, with a partner of hers, Lysander. And so she gets pulled into this case, and they're trying to find a lord's child that has been kidnapped, a newborn infant. And so they're trying to do that, and they go through she kind of, that's kind of the basic story, and it was really good. It feels a lot like a Harry Dresden or the Iron Druid or Mercy Thompson, that kind of story. And so I think that is the vein of what's happening. And it's very good, but there's only one book so far. So I was very eager for there to be more, but there has not been more at this point. It's a newer book, so I mean, I don't think that the author is just like done. I think and the way it ends, which I'm not telling you how it ends, it very much leaves it open for a series. So that would be interesting as well. Okay, this one I think I talked about, but I didn't see it in my... I guess I didn't save a picture of it, so I think I was reading it maybe, and that's why I'm thinking. So this is The Hourglass Throne by K.D. Edwards. This is the third book in the what's the name of the series? The Tarot... well, I can't think of it right now, and I don't have it with me. Okay, so this is a urban fantasy series. The premise is that Atlantis exists, it did. So the character, the main character is a prince or a scion of Atlantis, where the series starts, and he is his name is Rune St. John, and he is the scion of the Sun Throne. His father was Lord Sun, and was the head of the Sun Court. The Atlantean society is divided into different courts, with each court putting forward a member of the ruling Arcana Council. These courts and arcana mirror the major arcana from the tarot deck or the tarot cards. And so the kind of the story is that Atlantis has existed for a long time, but it stayed hidden by magical means. When humanity's technology evolved to the point of satellite and other things that could not be obscured, the island of Atlantis could not be obscured by magic anymore, they decided to reveal themselves, and the world was not very happy. And Atlantis had kind of existed and had many of its members lived in human society, but then would travel back to Atlantis. And Atlanteans have magic. They have the ability to rejuvenate themselves to a younger looking life time period, or physical age. They also have the ability to use sigil magic, which is they can kind of store different spells into these items called sigils, and then use those and release them, and then use the spells. So Rune is the son of the Sun Throne. The Sun Throne had fallen when he was a young person. It was attacked and destroyed, and he survived, and he has been kind of living off of his father's friends and his almost godparent, the Lord Tower, and become kind of an investigator and a mercenary, to lack of a better term, for Lord Tower. The start of the series, he kind of gets pulled into this, taking on more responsibilities and things. As the series is going on, he is becoming more of a force in his own right, and kind of bringing up what is, and he is being joined by not only his human companion, which these companions are bonded to an Atlantean when they're very young, and then they have a companion bond, and then they also, so when the Atlantean rejuvenates to a certain age, the companion will as well. And so they're able to serve their Atlantean counterparts, or alongside them. So he has his companion. He also develops a relationship with another scion of another house. And he also gains, for the children, of other houses, and kind of becomes kind of he starts collecting people from other places because of his good deeds and his outlook on life. Atlanteans themselves are very more pansexual, or more open to non-heterosexual relationships as a whole. And so I don't think it's really discussed, but Rune is in a relationship with another man. I don't know that he is necessarily gay, but he certainly has strong feelings for this other man. It's a plot point, so I don't want to get too much into it. But so there's that. But anyway, this book deals with a new threat to Atlantis coming, the Hourglass Throne. There is another fallen court, and a character, or a person from Atlantis's past that is threatening the way things are done in Atlantis, and the balance of power between all of the courts. And so Rune is having to deal with that, and having to take his place to kind of lead Atlantis through this. It's very good. I really enjoyed it. It also, the author kind of incorporated more modern things, like he incorporated the coronavirus pandemic into this book. Atlantis had, went through restrictions, and then they did things differently. They had magic, so they're able to combat it differently, but they haven't been able to reestablish with the world. Oh, one other thing. So like in the past, Atlantis existed. They fought a war with the rest of the world and lost. And then the Atlanteans themselves scattered. Secretly, they bought up Nantucket from the United States and from the residents of Nantucket. And then they transported their palaces and their places of power from all across the world to Nantucket. And so New Atlantis is the island of Nantucket. I think it's Nantucket. It's not Martha's Vineyard. I think it's Nantucket. But anyway, they transported their different things. And so New Atlantis exists right off the coast of the United States. It's not part of the United States anymore, and it is separate, and it has a relationship with the United States. So that's New Atlantis, and so that's kind of what's going on. It's a really interesting book. I really love the story. I really love the characters and the way they interact with each other. It's very well done. There is some romance to it, but it's not a romance book. It has a love story to it, and it is a gay love story, but it's very good. I really enjoyed it. And I love this third book in the series. I am eager for more of it, and I will listen to and reread this series probably several times because I really do enjoy it. But that is the Hourglass Throne. Oh, there it is. The Tarot Sequence. That's the name of the series. The first book is called The Last Sun. S-U-N, not S-O-N, because he is of the Sun Throne. Okay, one more book that I have to talk about that I just finished yesterday. I didn't do a very good job getting a good image. This is kind of blurry. This is Ever After by F.T. Lukens. Or So This Is Ever After, sorry. So this is a rom-com set in a fantasy setting. And that's kind of how the author described it. So the start of this book is this group of teenagers, late teens, young adults, are on this quest to defeat the Vile One, the king of this land. And it's been prophesied that they will succeed. And so they go along this route, and it starts in the book. They are at the final boss fight and with the Vile One, and they kill him. They win. They do everything. So this, as the title suggests, this is what happens ever after. So this is and they lived happily ever after. This is that part of it. It is a rom-com between the main character that is told from the point of view of Auric, who becomes king and was the prophesized chosen one. And then Matt, his childhood best friend and mage, who has stood by him and, accompanied him through his whole quest. I am very torn about this book because I loved parts of it, but it got to be a little too jarring, or sorry, Augie's being obnoxious. It got to be, how do I want to put this? In a lot of rom-coms, there's a will they, won't they storyline. And in this, that goes on for a long period of time. And to me, it went too long. And because this takes place at the end of the storyline of the quest that they've been on, there's not as much additional story that's pushing them forward. There are things that they have to deal with, but then they deal with them. It doesn't seem like there is one central tension that's going on, but it wasn't enough for me. I did like both of the characters individually, but one thing that kind of made this, it's only from Aric's point of view. There's not really anything from Matt's point of view. And so this is the situation of, I love him, but I don't know that he loves me. or he just is my friend and I don't want to put him through that. And they both have this thought, but it's not true. Like, they both love each other and they know they want to express that, but they haven't done it because they've been on this quest and now they're in this situation. And so what happens after they defeat the king, they are like, hey, we need to make sure, like, whoever's going to be king next. The king had his, the old royal family's daughter trapped in a tower, so she's going to be princess. She's been princess, we need to free her, but so we don't have to do this again. Auric reluctantly takes the throne and declares himself king. That triggers a magical curse on him that he has to deal with. And that's the situation. So he has to find himself somebody to share his soul with, or to bind to him so he can balance out the power of the throne, or he will fade by the time he turns 18, which is in 3 months. And so that's what Auric and Matt know about this, and so they're trying to deal with it. So then, and because Auric doesn't know that Matt likes him and thinks Matt doesn't like him, then he's trying to woo whoever else in the party he can, and then other random people, because he's trying to not die, even though he wants Matt, and Matt doesn't want to help him because he wants to be the person, but he doesn't want to tell Auric, so he doesn't think Auric really likes him. And so that part of it, the will they, won't they part, was a little too long for me. And there were points where I just was like, oh my God, figure this out. I had to stop the book and I had to like do something else and then could come back to it. So that was my trouble with it. Now, there are a lot of things that I loved about this. I loved the characters. I loved Matt. I loved Auric. I loved a lot of the things they had to go through. The rest of their party are all amazing, fleshed out characters. There are kind of archetypes or character archetypes. There is a rogue that likes to loot the room. There is a noble paladin knight guy that is very honorable and very stoic. There is a mischievous, fun time-loving bard. There is a strong fighter. Shauna is her name, and she, there's all of them have like their great points. And they all have individual characteristics, and they go beyond what the traditional archetypes are, but that's kind of where they start from. I loved all of them. And the other thing that I loved about this series was it is a great version, it is a great display of LGBT representation. It's not addressed. It's just, these are the way these people are. It's not like, Auric is both attracted to women and men, but there's not a discussion of, oh, well, then you're bisexual or you're pansexual or whatever it is. It's just, that's what he is into. Shauna falls in love with a woman. The other characters have the rogue and the knight get together. I mean, there's a lot of, and the male and woman, but there's common people that are referenced as, having a guy having a husband or having a partner, and it's another man. And so there's just queer people all around, and there's no issue with it. It's not a negative thing. It's not like specifically addressed. They're just there, and they just exist, and they live with everybody else, and it's amazing. It's very reminiscent to me of like the She-Ra Princesses of Power series on Netflix, where there was like queer people, but they are just part of the story, and there's not like a whole, well, we need to know like more about these, like, you need to address it. this land, this world exists without some kind of like religion that pushes heteronormativity or anything along those lines, or even has like a weird obsession with heteronormativity from even non-religious points of view, which is odd. But there's none of that. It's just, these are the people. There's a non-binary character that is just, it's not really discussed that way. It's just, they are discussed and they have their pronouns, and it is they, them. There's never like an issue of anything else with that character. So I really enjoyed the book. I enjoyed a lot of things about it. I really enjoyed the writing. I bought the other book written by the same author because I'm interested to see that one. The part that I didn't like was just, it was a little too will they, won't they? Will they, won't they? And a little whiny about that. But I'm interested to see more. I also will say, I saw an article or an interview of the author, and they were talking about how originally this was much longer and it was edited down like significantly. Like characters and arcs were just cut out. And I'm not sure if that helped this or hurt it, because in some ways I feel like some of the challenges that this group has after they become the king and then the ruling council of this kingdom is like, okay, they take over. Well, the neighbors and the former allies of this country hate them because they have been screwing them. The vile one has been like breaking treaties and has been taking shit and doesn't do all these things, and that the country had said it would. And so like so they get attacked, but then they reach out, form alliances, promise to pay things, do things, and it kind of like, a lot of the possible tension or storylines, things that could cause them harm or danger, put them in danger, are resolved really quickly. And so the only like through line of the story is Aric's soul bond needs to be situated. And, so he's got to kind of like woo somebody, and then him and Matt, what's happening there. And so that's kind of, I wonder if some of the other storylines that were cut to make this more of a 9-hour audiobook, or that amount of pages, that would have been kind of helpful. I don't know. It's kind of hard to know without knowing what was cut, but just the idea that there was more storyline and story arcs and characters that could have existed that were just cut for time, or to make this manageable, I'm kind of like, I wonder if it would be better without them. I don't know, or with them. But I did really enjoy the book, but I'm frustrated about it, as you can probably tell. I am going to read the other book from the same author. They only have 2 books out so far, so I'm not, so there's not a lot to read. But they did mention in their interview that they are working on a 3rd book, another fantasy book, so I'm excited to see that. And that's all of my books and all of the things that I was going to talk about today. So I will do, those of you that stayed. So I'm also going to be doing a whip parade soon. I'm planning to film it this weekend before StitchCon, before next week. I have to work Monday and Tuesday, but before I go to StitchCon, I'm planning to get that up too. So hopefully that will be coming up soon, and you'll get to see that and everything. So thank you. Thank you again for everybody that's come back and watched this before, or watched me before. Thank you for coming back, subscribing, liking, and commenting, and doing all the things. I really appreciate it. Please, thank you for everything, and I hope to see you soon. And if you're going to be at StitchCon, please come say hi if you see me, because I would love to interact with people in person and not just, but I'm kind of by default, I'm more of a shy person, so I'm not going to just like go up and talk to people. But if you want to talk to me, I will talk to you. I promise. I don't bite. So, see you later. Bye.